Kia team, and welcome back, and we are straight into it. I wanted to discuss a couple of things about AI workers before we get started on our next endeavor. So I've got AI workers doing things, right? And the AI workers are doing the stuff that we talked about before. This guy's plowing, I got a guy harvesting, and so on. This guy's always fun. We'll see when he gets to the end of this row. But that's not the only thing that you can do with AI workers. So you have this create jobs for AI workers. And the reason I can't create a job at the minute is because I've got too many AI. I've already got 3 AI workers. So it looks like 3 AI workers is as much as you can get, because I can't seem to create a job. If I had the ability to create a job, then it would say create job, but at the minute it says cancel job. So it seems like 3 AI workers is all you can get. And I have 1 work in the field. This is this guy harvesting. I have this guy. Where is he? Over here. Oh, now you see he thinks he's done. He thinks he's done. Let's have a look. You see this AI workers, the angle of this field is too steep for the AI worker to figure out that it's still a field. So every time they come to the end of this field, they're like, oh, I'm done, there's no more field. That's not true. There is a field, but the issue is that he thinks that there is not. And that's a bit of a pain, because I have to keep coming back here and setting him off again, or her off again, to do their little job. So there they are, and there they go, and away they go. And that's all well and good. And you've seen those things before, and you've seen plowing and harvesting. You've seen me do that. But that's not the only thing they can do, because I also have this guy here. What's he doing? Well, what's he doing is this guy's harvesting and this guy's delivering it off. But now I'm going to caveat this quite heavily. This guy will not load from that wagon. I have to load from the wagon and then set this guy going. And I'll show you how that works when we get there. So the AI, as you know, if you remember the thing on AI workers, is you have go to, load and deliver in the field work. The field work is the stuff we've been doing that I've showed you, which is the plowing and the harvesting and everything else that they've been doing. That's not a problem. Deliver is to just take something to where it needs to go to, which is what this guy has ostensibly been doing. He's just been delivering, but I've got him on a loop so he comes back to where he needs to come back to. And load and deliver we'll have a look at later. You need to go to a loading station. I believe it also works for silos if we have a silo, and we might buy a silo, and we might do that later. In fact, we will buy a silo, and we'll see about doing that later. But we'll definitely do. This guy's still convinced that he's done. Not done. Carry on. You're still not done. So close to getting this contract finished. Yeah. So this guy trucks on and does this thing and everything else. They're not exactly fast. I mean, he's doing better now. He still drives a bit like my nana. So, you know. They also seem to have a problem with nodes. So there's the turn. But he drives past the turn and then loops back in again, which is a bit weird. And they don't seem to want to use field paths. I think field paths are cosmetic, probably in the map, and they don't, as a consequence, actually exist. So there's a field path coming up on our left, which would take him into the field he needs to go into. That's where I would turn in. In there. Yeah, nah. Okay. So, where's he going to go now? So it seems to be that when they're pathfinding from this side of things, they pretty much go directly to the nearest road out of the field. So he's just going to turn straight through the trees. He does that every time he comes back this way. He's not interested in following the field path. He's only interested in coming in here. Now, he will then go to the place where the truck was when I started the contract. So he's going to keep going. And he's going to stop here, which is where he tends to stop. So there you go. So I can dismiss him now because he's gotten to where he needs to get to, and we'll sort that out in a minute. Sort this guy out once again. Gosh, this contract must be nearly complete, surely. Let's see if this contract's nearly complete. This plowing contract. Is it the cultivating contract? No, it's not. It's up here at the top. Plowing. It's complete. Oh, for heaven's sake. Right, we're done with that guy. Thank heavens for that. Right, so what we'll do is we'll load this up properly ourselves, and I'll show you how we get this guy, this AI worker, to do roughly what it is we want him to do. Like I said, oh, not that way. Don't you know how to reverse a trailer? So yeah, he's their pathfinding's marvelous, right? Anyway, let's get this guy loaded. So we'll fill this bin a little bit, and then we'll send them off. I mean, it's, you know, we never had this before, so it's definitely helpful. But it's not without. It could be better. So so here we are. So we want to create this AI worker. So we go to the AI worker menu. Now make sure you're selected on the vehicle you want. So this is the truck that we want. So we know it's this one. So that's good. So now it says create job. So now we've got a free AI space. In fact, we've got 2 AI spaces. We can create a job. So what we want to do is we'll hit X. We want him to deliver. So all he's doing is delivering. So we know that we want to deliver to here. This is feeding grain south, which is flashing. So that's in the unloading station. If you change the unloading station, you'll see which one is flashing. Oil mill, etc., dairy, and so on. This is the one that our contract requires. It requires him to go here, which is fine. Looping or not looping, looping means he's going to come back to where he started, which I want him to do, or her to do. So that's fine. Once it's ready, I just hit start, which is square, and we just wait. It does take them a little while, it seems. So they need to think about what they're doing, and yada yada, and yada yada, and yada yada. So there he goes. There he goes. And like I said, look, there he goes. He's going to go straight to the nearest road. So he's not going to give 2 figs about... sorry, it's a bit dark. It is nighttime. He's not going to give 2 figs about it. He's just going to drive straight across here. I mean, admittedly, he manages it every time. So that's fine. It's not like he's getting stuck. This guy's carrying on. And that's it. And I got a little tractor here. What we're going to do with this little tractor is, because we've got room, is we're going to give him a go-to job. So we're going to create the job, and the job's going to be go-to. And I want him to go to here. But what I want to do is I want to select the destination. So how did I do this last time? So I need to set the destination. So before I create the job, I need to set the destination. I want him to go here. So set destination is triangle. And that's the one. So yes, R3. And then you've got pick a rotation. And as you change R3, it will change the rotation of the vehicle. I just want him to face this way. That's fine. And I select that. And that's it. He's gonna head off now. There he goes. He's going to also find the nearest road, and he's going to travel up, and he's going to travel to the shop and everything else. Why are we going to go there? Well, if you see, this is blue, and blue means we now own that field. That field is ours, and that is going to be for my next project. However, the issue that I have is that that field, which I can't get to because I'm now trundling around, is... Oh, I know how I'll get there. I go to my house. I'll go to my chicken coop. I have a torch. Where's my torch? Ta-da! Wrong way. So, here's our field over here. So I purchased this field because it's out back of our farm. So it makes sense for me to purchase it. And this is going to be for our next little project. But the issue I have is it has weeds, and it now also has some stones in it. So I was just trialing something, and I'll explain that in a minute, for the weeds. Because there's nothing here. It's owned by me, it's fertilized, but there's no crops in it, but it does say there are weeds. I would like to tidy it up before we get into our next journey. So we're going to need to get some weeds out, we're going to need to pick some stones up, and bits and pieces. Now, my thing is, if you go to here and you look at weeders, so I've been looking up weeders. Read the top. Weeders pull out small grown weeds between crops, improving the field state. They can only be used in the first growing stages of crops. That's not actually true. They can be used in the first growing stages of crops. Yes, they can. They won't work once the crops get to the second stage, but that doesn't mean they can only be used. You can use it on a plowed field that's got weeds in it. There's no crops, so it's not quite technically accurate, and that's what I was checking, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not correct, and it's not correct. So we're down by the shop now, and like I say, sorry it's getting a little bit dark. I think what I'll do is, before I embark on the next lot, this guy is still delivering, which is awesome. So we've covered the AI stuff. I think you've got the go-to, which sends this guy over here. You've got deliver, which this guy has been doing. Load and deliver. I'll do an example of that later with our little truck, and I'll show you how that works. But it's essentially the same. It's just you open the menu, you choose the load point in the deliver point, and you can loop it, and it'll just keep doing it, etc., etc. And we'll set one of those up. But I want to show you what we're going to ultimately be doing down on this little field. But I'll do that in the daylight. So what I'll do is I will carry on with these little bits and pieces that I need to finish off. Just wanted to show you the AI stuff. He's down there now delivering, which is great. And when it's daytime, when I finish these contracts and it's daytime, I'll bring you back. We'll have a look at preparing this field for this little task that I have in mind. And this field will probably be ready to go by tomorrow. I think it'll be the middle of autumn, October 2nd, second day. So this should be ready to harvest, and we can be harvesting that too. So I'll bring you back when it's daylight. I'll see you real soon. We just finished weeding. So this is the weeder that I got, which is like the small weeder, which is fine. I'll just I'll maybe turn the radio off. And you know, it's this physical thing, and it works much like a cultivator or a plow or, pardon me, anything else. You pull it behind, and it changes the field state and it rips out the weeds, and you can see when it's pulled out the weeds because the weeds are all gone. So we've pulled all the weeds out, which is fantastic. Which, like I said, you can do, you know, when you're not in crop as well. So now you can see that the stones have come through. So it did look like this, which has got weeds on it. Our cornfield has weeds on it. But now that we've got the weeds out, we can see that we have stones. So we're now going to need to deal with stones. Now I've also looked at, the corn. It still ain't ready to go. And it may have been, we do have a little while yet before it's potentially ready. So it could be that it was planted late in the season. So this is the field out back of our little farm, and we've got some stones, and they look like relatively small. Ooh, they look like relatively small stones. Got a little bit of a bump there. So I think what we're going to need is some small stone gear. We're not going to need some big stone gear. Ah, that's my grass. Honestly, it's early in the morning where I am. Early. I haven't been drinking. I promise. I hit that dip the other time coming through here. So anyway, yeah. So look, this was the cheapest one they had, and I don't know why I'm bringing it back because I'm paying lease on it. It doesn't matter. I paid for the day, so I've only used it for like an hour. It's a small field. It's no big drama. It was like $90. So yeah, so we finished up those contracts. I've got another big plowing contract going on. I'm still keeping an eye on the baling one because I would still like to show you baling. It is an involved process with many steps. One of the few. And but I don't have anything with the bale wagon, and I want to show you something with a bale wagon. I've been past a couple of fields that are in grass and they're large, so when they're fully ready to go, I'm sure the contracts will come through. It's so sketchy, this little thing. Any little bump throws it off course. There you go. It's a good idea. I mean, part of the issue is, you see my wheels lifting off the ground. I don't have a tractor weight on this, and I did say, at least I think I said earlier on at some point, if you're gonna have big gear like this, plows, weeders, spray things and everything else, obviously they're gonna tip your tractor, so you put a tractor weight on front. I don't have a tractor weight for this dinky little tractor, and at this stage I don't care. So leased vehicles are here, and we will return that. Thank you very much. So now then, stones. You want to have a look at stones, and there is stone machines here. What are they called? Stoners? I don't think so. Stone pickers. So you got, none of them are cheap. So you've got this little one, which is, remember, we're 112 horsepower. So that's 100, 200, 120. So this is probably the only one we're going to get. It's got a 2.3 cube basket for stones. It's 2.9 ton. Ooh, 2.9 ton. Our little dinky tractor is, 2.9 ton. Ooh, she's going to be close. But I think it's enough. Now this is a weird one. And I'll show you this one. So we'll lease that 1,025. Thank you very much. And I will show you it because I don't really fully understand this, and whether this is an actual real life thing or not. I mean, Farm Simulator is pretty good in that a lot of the stuff it has is like really true to life, you know. It's endorsed by the big brands. They allow their brand names to be used. They really like the exposure that they get and everything else and all the rest of it. But as you can see here, this tow bar is not in the middle. Now I'm no expert, but how the heck am I towing this if the tow bar ain't in the middle? And I'm not just dragging it around. But you'll see that in this one in particular, the wheels aren't aligned either. So maybe there's something to do with the way the wheels are not aligned that lets me to tow this, even though the tow bar is not in the middle, without seemingly just dragging it down the road in a random way. I just don't know. It gets even weirder when you see it work. So we'll take it out. We'll take it out through here, and we'll see it work. Now, I do appreciate that I said to you that I would buy a silo at some point, and I do stand by that, but now is not the time to be buying silos. I don't have anything to put in it for a start. I'll do it when we're harvesting the corn, is what I'll do. I'll buy a silo when we're harvesting the corn. Right, so here we are. This is a stone picker. Now, before we get sorted, we have to unfold it. Now, look at that. It goes at an angle. And this is equally as crazy. I don't get it. Is this work in real life? How does this work? How do you even do this in real life? How does this thing exist? I've never seen. Why is this just not dragged along on its ass? I have no idea. Anyway, we're going to turn it on. We're going to lower the pickup. We're going to get it going. We're going to head off, and we're going to let an AI worker do it because why not? And they're going to pick up the stones. And you see these little blobs of stones, and you see that these little blobs of stones are being picked up, and you end up with this lightly furrowed field, but free of stones. Now what that's going to do is that's going to change the condition state of the field, and we're now going to see what the condition state of the field is going to be underneath as well. And the issue for me is probably going to be when the stones are gone, if we have a blank condition state. So one of these ones here, like number 40, has no condition state. Um, I think what that means is just it's got nothing, right? It's totally vanilla. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to fertilize it. Well, we know how to do that, right? Because we have the little fertilizer, that little fertilizer thing there. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll let this guy do his thing, and you have now seen what stone does. Oh, you probably want to know where it goes, don't you? That'll be the other thing. So these go to the crusher, and the crusher is, I think, over here. Is this the crusher? Yeah, the debris crusher. So the debris crusher, they buy your stones, man. I mean, they're good stuff. You bring in these field stones, they crush them up, use them as aggregate, put them under roads, probably sell them back to you. You can make farm tracks out of them. Whatever the story is, you can sell them at the debris crusher. Not exactly an awful lot of money if we go and have a look at stones. So stones are down here somewhere. Everything's down here somewhere. Tickety tick 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 tick. There you go, stones. We're in October, so anywhere between 88 and 90 bucks for stones. For that, 1,000 liters or whatever of stones. So you're never going to make a truck ton of money. But there you go. So that's the deal. At the minute, the debris crusher's at 88. So that's not too bad. But I mean, it's between 88 and 90, so it's $2 difference. It makes very little difference whatsoever. So when this thing is full, and it's at 2%, so this thing probably isn't going to fill up. There's not a lot of stones, and small stones take up more space than big stones, but there's a lot of little small stones here. So they'll trundle along. They'll pick up all these small stones. You'll see the stones fill up in here. As a little grey thing at the back, and when they're done with this, we'll take the stones over the debris crusher, we'll sell them, we'll come back, and then we'll need to fertilize the field the first time, and then we'll see what the condition is then. I don't think we're going to need to go through plowing or liming or any of that kind of jazz. I think if we needed to do that, it would probably come through already. It's not coming through, but we'll check it at the end before we fertilize it, and we'll see what it looks like. Otherwise, I'll get on, fertilize it, and after I've fertilized it, it will probably be ready for us to talk about what we want to do with it next, all being that now is not necessarily the time to plant. So while I'm getting stuff ready, now may not be necessarily the time to plant. We may have other things that we need to do or carry on with because we're beholden to the calendar, I am sorry to say, and the situation is that the only things that we need to plant around this time of year are wheat and barley, and grass and oilseed radish, and we're not going to be getting into any of that currently. So this will then be, which is the way it is with Farm Simulator, the end of harvest season. We'll probably have a lot of harvest contracts still come through until the end of November, and then as you can see, December, January, February is real quiet. So there'll maybe be plowing contracts, liming contracts, cultivating contracts. There'll be things like that that are going on. We'll probably be still managing our animals. So that's something to do. We can carry on managing the animals. Hopefully we'll have some output we can take. We can pick those up with pallets. I can show you a couple of ways to handle pallets and we'll take them off. But at the end of harvest season, there's a mad rush doing lots of harvesting, etc., etc. And then you can get the fields ready when you've got time, and we're a little bit ahead of time. But then it will be sort of fast forwarding on as much as you can, doing contracts that are worth your time and money and effort, maybe doing a bit of maintenance on your vehicles, and we'll cover some of that stuff until we get into the planting seasons, which is obviously spring. So that's the situation. He's trundling along. I'll see how he gets on and talk about, and we'll fertilize with our 42-meter sprayer and our bag of fertilizer over there. And when that's all done, I'll bring you back and we'll have another chinwag, shall we? I'll see you soon. Hello again! It came up. Finally came up. So hooray, hooray, hooray. So, right, here's the gear. Mowers. That's a windrower, because this is going to be silage, so there's no tedding. A baler, a bale wrapper, and a lifter. Excellent. Now then, these mowers. This bit goes on the front. Gada boom. And the arms go on the back, and it's a lovely mower. I like this one. This is all the same gear. It's essentially the same contract. It's the same field. I just had to hire one of the most expensive vehicles. You can see the tracks. One of the most expensive vehicles I own, which is called the Big Bud, which is huge, to push the old bales out of the way, which I still haven't got a solution for. There probably is a solution. I'm thinking about, I probably need to get it into a forage mixer, so I think I can maybe lift it in sections with a telehandler into a forage mixer. Then I can empty the forage mixer into a wagon or something, and then make use of the grass. But it's a project for another time. It's not something I want to get into. So they're sitting right there. So it's the same field. It's the same field. It's the same field. Now you will see that I cut the grass around the outside here, and the reason I did that is because when you're doing this job, it doesn't make any difference between grass and grass. So you can actually harvest this grass and get paid for it, because this isn't my land. So the only time I'm ever going to be able to harvest this grass is under this contract. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in and we're going to run around the edges with the mower and see if it's cutting any grass. If it is cutting any grass, excellent, Smithers, excellent. Now, you remember from my previous discussions that you use the triangle to select the tool. So I've selected the front tool, which is the front mower, and we need to unfold that, and we'll lower it, and we'll head ourselves over here. And then we'll select the rear tool, and we'll unfold that, and we'll lower it when we're ready. Lovely piece of kit. Right, there you go. And we have this this area around the outside here. Now we'll turn on the mower, and it's already, you know, saying, "Oh no, 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 no," but that's not necessarily. There's some grass, so there is some grass. So it is worthwhile on these contracts to do this around the outside of the field, because you will get an additional some grass. If it was long again, if a whole season had passed and the grass had all grown back, it would be fully grown and we'd be getting more grass. We're not going to get all that. Comes close around here, got to jigger our way around. But we are going to go around the field. So this is just another one of those little tips to kind of you know, make the most of your opportunities, really, because the guy wants the grass mowed. Yeah, so he hasn't been 100% specific. so we can mow the grass, including the grass around the field, and we'll do that too, shall we? So we'll go around the outside of the field, and we'll do all of this, and then we'll go and we'll do the inside of the field. And you know, that will help us get the grass. We'll have to be careful about getting this stuff inside the field, and I'll show you what I mean with that when we get the windrower going, if we want to use the baler, because while it'll let me cut out here, it won't let me bale out here. So you need to try and get the grass back inside the boundary of the field. So yeah, you see, and it depends, because we don't know where the boundary of the field is until we run across. There's no way. Oh yeah, the stones maybe. AIB is doing my stones. So it's having a little bit of a fit, because the boundary of the field, I think, is closer on this side than it is on the other side. But that said, you can see we're still generating grass, so it's still technically cutting grass, even though it doesn't like the fact that we're out here cutting grass. And we'll see how we go about getting that in. So like I said, what we'll do is, so this guy's operating speed is 22 kph. And what I will do is, I don't think my little tractor will be good enough to do the windrower by itself, because you only get one tractor as part of the contract. So what I might have to do is I might have to hire another tractor to do the windrowing, and that will help get it done quickly, because the windrowing is slower than this guy, but it does have a wider width. So the issue that you have there is that, right, there you go. The issue you have there is that it will catch up to this guy eventually. So we'll let him keep going. I should probably say I'll stop here, because there is an additional setting on this, and I could make life a little bit easier for myself, because if we go to the back more, you see where it says selected work mode? And you've got the R button, or you got L3 toggle work mode. I can go to swathe dropping. I'll show you what that does. So instead of it being all wide, it drops it into a swathe anyway. Now, I don't actually need to use the windrower, because this swathe will be enough for me to pick it up in the field. So all I will need to do with the swathe going is actually use the windrower to pull the stuff from the outside inside. So that will speed up time a bit. So some of these mowers are pretty canny. This guy is not canny. The issue he's having here is that he doesn't fully understand, because I've already cut some of it, that this is still here. So I'll carry on to the end, because he's like, well, there's not enough crop in front of me. It's like, yeah, okay. So I'll carry on to the end. I'll turn him around. I'll get him started again with his dropping, and then that'll be that. So there we go. Swing him around, back him in, get him started again. Probably right about there. Yeah, right. So he'll carry on doing that. So this will save me time, because I can pick up this swathe with the baler. So do check. Some of the mowers have that ability, some of them don't. And this one, I mean, he has other work modes. I think they can drop to the left and drop to the right, and a bunch of other little bits and pieces. So there are some tricks you can pull in to make it work. This guy is done with the stones, which is grand. So I need to go and take the stones over to where I need to take it over to. Now, if we look at the, we'll need to go and see what windrower we're talking about. So what windrower are we talking about? It's pretty big. It's the Class Liner 4900 business. So I think if we go here and we go up to where the windrowers are, which is down here, where's the Class 4900 business? Yeah, 115 horsepower. It's a little bit outside, and it's 6 tons. What's hours? No way it's going to pull that, right? 2.9, not a chance. So I don't think any of these pull up to 6. Got 5. Oh, I got a 6.3. So the T6 will pull it. It's 102,000. 120, you're getting up to, what's this guy pull? 2.9, 4.8. Yeah, I don't think any of these, this will pull 6, 116,000. Yeah, so, these are all more expensive. So that seems to be our best bet, is that, where's that guy? Who was it? This guy? The New Holland T6 series, 102,000. So I think we're going to have to lease that. We're going to have to lease that. We're going to have to pull that turkey around. That's what we're going to have to do to sort out the windrower. And then we can sort out the baler and the bale thing and everything else, which we will have a look at. So let me go and deal with my stones at the debris crusher. And I'll bring you back when I've sorted out where we are with the windrower. I'll see you soon. Right, here we are with the windrower. And we're over here by our field. Now these things are wide. They certainly are wide. And this guy's already going well. Look at him. He's already doing pretty good. But what we want to do is we want to try and bring as much of this stuff in from the outside as possible. Because we want to try and get it into the field. So you'll see that it does a double kind of a thing where it pulls it in. And I think that close to the edge, if we're driving along the edge, will probably be good enough. So what we'll do is we'll head around the outside and try and pull as much of this stuff in as possible. And we'll create swathes that we can use the baler to pick up. And now that we're hiring this tractor, we can probably use that to run the baler while this guy's still cutting, and we can save a little bit of time. Now, the issue is with the AI and things like balers. So the AI will do windrowing. So if I hit this, he's windrowing, but he'll windrow within the field. He won't windrow outside the field. So as far as he's concerned, I've put him inside the field and he's following the inside of the field, and he's happy doing that. But that's not what I want to do. So what I want to do is I want to windrow on the outside. So I'll go back to doing me. But beyond that, they can't really do anything else. So they can't run balers because the baler requires you to follow a windrow, and the AI doesn't seem to understand what a windrow is. You will have noticed that my sorry, what I want to do is I want to go the other way. You will notice that if I actually do this trailers, it's hard enough to do in real life, let alone actually do in a game when you're not actually in the vehicle. I want to pull that stuff back inside a little bit better. There you go. It's made a bit of a mess, but I think we're good, so we'll carry on. Yeah, I think it's because the windrows like don't exist, if you know what I mean, from an AI perspective. I think the AI, like I've said, it seems to notice fields, field shapes, field boundaries, and crops that are sticking out of the ground, but it doesn't notice anything else. So the reason that it works picking up stones is not because it knows where the stones are, because the stones occur sporadically. It's just because it's following the field. The stones only occur inside the field, and therefore it just follows the field, and it does perfectly fine. When it's doing windrowing, it's just following the field. It's not doing anything else. So swaths, that kind of thing, anything that you need to pick up off the ground, and that may be outside the field boundary, the AI workers don't seem to get a handle on that. They don't really seem to know what they're doing. So yeah, there you go. I know because I did I did this last time, a few episodes ago. Feels like a lifetime. That this will be close enough to the field for me to enable the baler to pick it up. At least I sure hope so. What I will do is when I'm finished with this windrower, I'll leave it down here. I'll just park it out of the way. You don't need to take it back to the shop every time. I'll just leave it down here out of the way, and then if the baler runs into issues because I'm just a little bit too far outside, I'll just jump onto the windrower, windrow it a little bit closer, and job will be a good one, right? So this is the situation. I think we're just pretty much done. I think there was a little bit up at the top, so I'll just finish off this last little bit, and then I'll bring the baler down. I'll see you soon. Now then, before I bring this baler down, this is the 1290 ID, right? Baler. So it can probably change bale widths, I imagine. This thing is the Kuhn SW4014. This will only wrap a certain bale size, and this, which is the Arcuson FSX 63.72, will only pick up bales of a certain size, which I think will be dictated by this. So the Kuhn SW4014, we don't need to go to the shop to check this out, sorry. The Kuhn SW4014. So it's a baler. It's a wrapper. Couldn't SW414. So it will do between 180 and 220, right? But the bale loader, which is the Arkeson FSX 63.72, will do 180 to 240 bales. So we can, if we have a look at our bale wrapper, we can go up to 220 on the bale wrapper. So our baler can go up to 220, that can go up to 220, that will pick it up. So I am very definitely hoping, and what I will do is I will save this time. I'm going to save now this time. I've turned autosave off, so if it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. So we want to set this baler at 220, right? Because we've said the wrapper will take a 220. Yes? So what does it say here? Change bale size. No, it's at 220. So it's already at 220, which I think is great. So we're going to keep it at 220 because that makes an awful lot more sense to us. And we're going to head across the field because it's faster for us to get there. So yeah, so like I said, you can't get an AI worker to do that. That's why it says open AI worker menu, because they don't understand how to use balers. They don't understand how to use those kinds of things. Maybe the new one will change that so that they do. That would be a nice change, because I mean, you know, like I said, grass cutting, grass harvesting, it's important, and it is a good way to make money. You know, and you use grass and hay and straw bales and all the rest of it. It's all good stuff. But at the minute, the stuff that the actual AI will do is quite limited. So you're then stuck with the whole, well, they're only going to do so much. Right, so here we are. So we need to unfold our baler first. We need to lower its pickup, which is the thing on the front. You just saw it come down. If I lift it again, there it goes, down, up. That's just to pick up the grass. And we turn it on, and they don't like it because I'm way out here. That guy's over there somewhere. So we'll carry on. It's it's not slow. I mean, it's not fast. We're having a problem with this one. I think this tractor's a little bit small to pull this baler. We might need to reconsider the vehicle. It's working, but it's slow. A little bit we missed with the grass cutting. It's working, but it's slow. So that's okay, as long as it's working. It's just because it was a hill. So we want to try and capture as much of this grass as possible. And like I said, this guy's filling a gap. This little rental tractor is filling a gap until that other one's available. So it's fine on the flat, which is across the hill, but it's absolutely dreadful on the hill. 11 Ks, that's probably about as fast as it's going to work anyway, the baler. 13, so picking up speed. Maybe operating speed is 15 kph, something like that. So this is baling, and you'll see that there's a little bale being ejected like poop out the back, which is fine. They'll just come and they'll drop off. You can see that the grass indicator at the bottom is filling up as I drive along. You got to remember that the pickup's in the front of the machine, so you kind of drive with your tractor straddling the swath, and that will pick up your grass, loads it in. When it gets to 100, it indicates you've got a full bale, and then it gradually squeaks it out the back, and then as you saw with that one, when it's done, it drops off, so it's like a continuous little trail of bales pooping their way out the back of your baler, which is absolutely fine. It is what it is. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing this and negotiating a couple of these little odds and sods. I think I might leave some of this end stuff, fiddly stuff, until the other tractor's available, which has a little bit more grunt, and I'll just carry on doing the straight stuff. And I can tidy up around the edges at the end with the baler. You just whiz around with the more powerful tractor. So we'll not catch him up. He'll keep doing his thing. We'll keep doing our baling, and then when we're ready for wrapping, I'll bring down the wrapper set to a 220 bale, and we'll take it from there. I'll see you soon. Right, welcome back. I think it's about time we wrap this up. Sorry about that. This is a bell wrapper. And again, if these things exist in real life, I mean, look at this thing go. Do these things exist in real life? Because this is, who thought this up? This is awesome. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how people think this stuff up. Look at that. It cuts automatically and everything. Fantastic. So we've done the whole field. We've baled everything. There's a few odds and sods and scraps, but you always get a few odds and sods and scraps. We've got an awful lot of stuff in here and an awful lot of bales in here, and I've got an awful lot of bale wrapping to do. We started this just around about noon. I do believe, if I recall correctly. It's now 4 o'clock. I've got quite a lot of wrapping to do, and then I got to come and load it up. And when I've loaded it up, then we'll be taking it to somewhere else. So this is wrapping. This is a bale wrapper. There's a number of different kinds, but they all sort of operate more or less the same as this. We've obviously discussed bale sizes that apply and various other bits and pieces. You do not have to sort them out with plastic. Some of them you can change the color of the wrapping, I think, but not on this one. Yeah, other than that, it is what it is. And this gives you wrapped bales, which wrapped bales can then become silage after a while. I do believe, you need to check on that, or whether you just have to have it in a silage clamp. I think it's called a silage clamp, is what you call it. Anyway, I can't keep nattering on because I've got to get this done, and then I've got to get this episode sorted. So we'll carry on with this, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta. Right, welcome back. Well, here we are with this loader. We're just wrapping up. This is the last of it, and we're getting towards the last of it. I wanted to bring you in so you could see these things, and it's pretty simple. You just rock up and you load it up, and there you are. We're gonna be one bale, so we're gonna have one bale left, which is gonna be a bit of a nuisance, but there you go. So that's us 100%. So we're gonna take this over, and we're gonna offload it, and we're gonna have a look at what we get for a full truckload. Now, bearing in mind that this is, and look at all that. Oh man, that's a lot of money sitting there. You'll see. So, yeah, bearing in mind that it's a $20-something thousand contract, like $26,000 or something for a field that size, which is field 71, which is, I think, the largest. No, field 70 is probably the largest. Field 32 is pretty big, but I think field 70 is probably the largest. And yeah, so that's an awful lot of grass, and it took an awful lot of time. It's nearly 9 o'clock. We're going cross country. It's nearly 9 o'clock in the evening, and like I said, we started this before lunch, in game time, not in real world time. So it's still like 9 hours worth of game play time, divided by 5. So it takes a bit of an effort, and it takes a bit of toing and froing and backwards and forwards and everything else and all the rest of it. But they are very lucrative contracts, which is why you want to be able to do them, and why you want to be able to do them correctly, which is obviously the key point to this whole conversation, is doing it correctly. So this is silage bales, because it's wrapped bales. I haven't checked the prices about other bales and other kinds of bales, and like I said, a savvy person would only wrap and deliver what they needed if they wanted to keep stuff for themselves, and then they could keep stuff for themselves, or hang on to it till the prices got a little bit better, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sell these right here, right now, so you can see. The offloading for this is a little bit different, and it's a little bit annoying because you don't get a trigger to tell you you're in the right place. So you gotta hope like heck you're in the right place, because normally it would say, well, you could tip here, but you can't. You just have to know that this is the right place to go. And I don't know anymore because the contract's finished. but I do know that this is the place where I've been dropping it, so I'm going to keep on dropping it here. And when it gets to this, it then says, are you sure you want to unload the bales here? And I am sure, and there we go. And that is 24,564. I can tell you now, I have already made 10,800. So that's 25,300. And there's one bale down there which I'm not going to get because I still need to find a solution for the other stuff. And so 25,300 plus this contract is now complete. 2454. So yeah, you can see now that this is an incredibly lucrative series of contracts, and there's a whole lot of people want baling done. So you could, or I could, in theory, just get on and do this, put all the spare bales aside, come along with my own bale lifter, pick everything up, and go and sell it for a bucket load of money. And if that's what you wanted to do, that's what you want to do. So grass is lucrative as always. So look, we've covered a lot of things. Not going to deny we have covered a lot of things in this episode, which is really good. I'm glad that we have covered a lot of things, because you know, there's a lot to cover. So there you go. So we're cracking on. We're getting through all of the things that we need to get through, and we're moving our way through the stuff that we need to move our way through. So in the next episode, we will carry on. Maybe our field will be ready with the corn, and we could do corn harvesting. I did promise we'd do an AI load and deliver, so I'm going to have a look at one of those. I did promise that we would plop down a silo somewhere, so we can talk about siloing and a couple of other bits and pieces. And yeah, and we'll carry on through some of the contract stuff, which brings up some of the interesting things. But like I said, the calendar is towards the end of harvest year. We're going to wrap up the harvest, then we're going to find ourselves with probably not a lot to do over the winter months, but we do have the pallets and the animals and things to move. So there you go, cracking on with the showcase. I hope you are enjoying it. I hope if you've played this game before that this is reminding you of all of the fun things you could do, and what we hope will be improved for Simulator 2025. Do drop a like, do subscribe to the channel, do feel free to drop any tips, tricks, hints, questions, clarifications, comments, etc, etc, etc. And I will see you all again real soon for the next one. Ta-ta for now.